You're fine. Everything's fine. Good vibes only. Someone hurts you. Everything happens for a reason. You lose your job. The universe has a plan. You're exhausted. You're breaking. You're falling apart inside. Just be grateful. Look on the bright side. Stay positive. Ah, sounds familiar? This is the Toxic Optimist. And if you recognize yourself in those first few sentences, keep watching. Because what looks like strength from the outside is something very different on the inside. So, welcome to Beneath. Today, the Toxic Optimist, the mental state that uses hope as a hiding place, that mistakes denial for strength and calls avoidance a mindset. The part of you that has decided that feeling bad means you're doing life wrong. Here's what most people don't understand about the toxic optimist. It's not actually optimistic. Real optimism is hard earned. It acknowledges the difficulty, sits with it, and then, from that honest place, chooses to move forward. Real optimism says, this is painful, and I believe things can get better. Toxic optimism skips the first part entirely. It doesn't move through the pain, it moves around it. It jumps straight to the bright side before it's even looked at the dark side. And what you move around doesn't disappear. It just goes underground and waits. So there's a term for this in psychology, spiritual bypassing. Using positive frameworks like gratitude, manifestation, everything happens for a reason, to avoid doing the actual emotional work. It looks like growth, it sounds like wisdom, but it's avoidance wearing a very convincing cost too. Let's talk about where this comes from. The toxic optimist usually forms as a survival response. Maybe you grew up in an environment where negative emotions weren't allowed, where expressing sadness or anger was weakness, where the family rule, spoken or unspoken, was smile, be grateful, stop complaining, others have it worse. So you learn to perform positivity, to suppress the difficult before it could surface, to reframe everything immediately before you'd even had a chance to feel it. Or maybe it formed later, from self protection, because pain is real and pain is hard. And if you can convince yourself that everything happens for a reason, that the universe is working in your favor, that this is all part of a plan, then you don't have to sit with how much something actually genuinely hurt. And sometimes it forms from social pressure, because we live in a culture that rewards positivity and punishes difficulty. The person who says, I'm struggling, gets advice or discomfort. The person who says, I'm grateful for the lesson, gets likes. So you learned. Performed positivity gets rewarded. Real pain makes people uncomfortable. Toxic optimism isn't stupidity. It isn't weakness. It's an armor built carefully over time for very good reasons. But that armor has a cost. Here's how the toxic optimist actually operates day to day. Something genuinely difficult happens, and before you can feel it, sometimes within seconds, the toxic optimist activates, right? It reframes immediately. This is a blessing in disguise. It minimizes. Others have it so much worse. I have no right to complain. It spiritualizes. Everything happens for a reason. The universe is redirecting me. It performs. I'm fine. Honestly, I'm good. I've already made peace with it, right? And for a moment, it works. The pain gets quieter. You feel lighter. You look like someone who has it together. People admire your resilience. You feel proud of how quickly you recovered. But here's what actually happened: you didn't recover at all. You bypassed. You didn't process the emotion. You skipped over it. You went from experiencing something painful to explaining why it was actually fine without spending any time in between actually feeling it. And unprocessed emotions don't dissolve, they accumulate. They build up layer by layer, quietly beneath the surface, until one day something completely small or ordinary happens, a minor inconvenience, a throwaway comment, and you break completely. And you don't even understand why, because you forgot about all the things you never let yourself feel. This is the moment the toxic optimist finally loses, not in a dramatic way, in a very quiet, very exhausted way. Here's what it costs you. First, authentic connection. When you're always positive, always reframing, always fine, the people around you can't be honest with you about their own struggles because they know what's coming. You'll immediately reframe their pain. You'll find the silver lining before they've finished explaining the cloud. So they stop sharing, not because they don't trust you, because they can't afford your optimism right now. You become someone people can't be real with. And that's a lonelier place than you'd think. Second one, self knowledge. You don't know what you actually feel because you reframe before you feel. Your emotional landscape is a performance, not a map. So when you make decisions about relationships, about work, about your life, you're making them based on performed emotions rather than real ones. And you wonder why things keep not working out the way you expected. Third one, trust in yourself. When you're always fine, you lose the ability to know when you're actually not fine. Your internal signals stop working because you keep overriding them until you genuinely can't tell the difference between being okay and performing being okay. And that's a terrifying place to be. Fourth one, the relationship with your own pain. The toxic optimist teaches you that difficult emotions are problems to be solved, not experiences to be felt. So you become afraid of them. You don't know what will happen if you let yourself actually feel something. You don't know if you'll be able to come back. So you keep reframing, keep bypassing, keep performing because the alternative feels too risky. So, how do you work with the toxic optimist? First, write it down, guys. Here it's coming. Let the feeling exist first. Before you reframe, before you find the lesson, before you look on the bright side, just let it be bad for a moment. Believe me, say it out loud or write it down. This is hard. This hurts. I don't like this. That's it. You don't have to fix it at all. You don't have to find the meaning. You just have to let it exist for 5 minutes. That's enough to start. Second one, separate acceptance from bypass. Ah, this is subtle but important. Acceptance means this happened and I acknowledge it as real. Bypass means this happened and I'm gonna explain why it's actually fine before I've felt anything. This is hard and it happened is acceptance. This happened for a reason and I'm grateful for the lesson. Immediately after that, after it happens, right? That's bypass, guys. One is honest, the other is a defense mechanism wearing the cloths of wisdom. It's dangerous. Third one. Third one is be honest with one person, not social media honest, where you share a vulnerability that's already resolved and packaged neatly. Actually honest, in real time. I'm not okay right now, and I don't know why. This is harder than I'm letting on. I'm struggling with this. Pick one safe person. Practice this once. Then see what happens. Fourth one, allow others their pain without fixing it, guys. When someone shares something hard, notice the impulse to immediately reframe it for them, to find the bright side, the lesson, the silver lining, blah, blah, blah. Resist that impulse. Just say, that sounds really hard. I'm sorry. Full stop. No reframe, no fix, no trying something. Just witness. This does two things. It helps them and it starts to retrain you that pain can exist without immediately needing to be solved. Here's the truth the toxic optimist doesn't want you to know. Feeling the difficult things is not weakness. It's not pessimism. It's not giving up. It's the only way you actually move through it. You cannot think your way out of emotions. You cannot reframe them into disappearing. You cannot manifest yourself past grief or loss or genuine pain. You have to feel them. And the feeling, when you finally allow it, is almost always more survivable than you feared. It doesn't destroy you, it moves through you. And the other side of actually feeling something is the real thing, not performed optimism, not forced gratitude, genuine, earned, honest hope. The kind that knows exactly how hard things got and chooses to keep going anyway. That's not toxic. that's real. So I want to ask you something, guys, and I want you to sit with it for a second before you answer, okay? So, when was the last time you let yourself feel something without immediately reframing it? I mean, when did you last say, this is just hard, without following it with, but I'm grateful, or but it could be worse, or but everything happens for a reason? Drop it them in the comments. Or don't, but sit with the question, please. We're all more defended than we think. Believe me. So, guys, next week, The Invisible. You do everything right, you show up, you work hard, you're there for everyone, but somehow, nobody sees you. We're examining exactly this. We're examining what it costs to go unnoticed and why it keeps happening. So please subscribe if you like this content, guys. And this week, try something uncomfortable. When something's hard, just let it be hard for 5 minutes. Do it for me for just one time, please. Don't reframe it. Don't find a lesson. Just feel it. See you next time. Feel it first, then move through it. Bye.